Good morning, second grade, and welcome to language arts class. So we have lesson 9 today. It is about introducing friends to others. Before we go on into today's lesson, let's do a review first. So we have thinking of compound sentences again. Compound sentences are two sentences put together into one. And what punctuation mark do we need in a compound sentence? If you remember, in the middle of the compound sentence, there comes, we'll look over here on the board, there comes a comma. Now let's read these two sentences and let's think about compound sentences and decide which one would be a compound sentence. So we have Tom and Joe raced across the yard, and Tom ran fast, but Joe won the race. So which one do you think would be a compound sentence in there? Remember, compound sentences have two sentences, complete sentences, joined into one. So we would say that the bottom one, this one here, Tom ran fast, but Joe won the race. That would be our compound sentence because it has two sentences joined into one. Okay, let's think about, we have singular nouns here and we want to make them plural. So let's spell them the way that they should be. So we have leaf, and we need to change the F to a V and add ES to make it more than one, which would say leaves. For this one, it says loaf. We need to change the F again to V and add ES, and then it will say loaves. So that means more than one. Knife, again, we change the F to V and add ES, so it would say knives. And then we have life, which would be lives. Okay, let's look at these sentences here. The first one says, Johnny is or are in the house. So would it make sense to say Johnny is in the house or Johnny are in the house? Well, whenever you have a singular noun, you need to use the word is. So is correct. Sally and Sue is or are with the cousins. For this sentence here. So we would say Sally and Sue is with the cousins or Sally and Sue are with the cousins. Well, we have more than one noun here, so we will use are for the verb. The next sentence says, the children was or were painting for art. Well, we have a plural noun, so we will need to use the children were painting for art. Mr. Brown was or were in the house. It is a singular noun. Right here, Mr. Brown is singular, so you will need to use was. Mr. Brown was in the barn. Okay, so going into today's lesson now, second grade, you may open up your light units to lesson 9 and page 30, and we're going to read the teaching box there. So lesson 9, page 30, have your light unit open, and you can follow along as I read there. It says, sometimes you have people with you that your friends do not know. You should introduce them to each other. When you introduce someone to your grandfather or grandmother or father, say the older person's name first. When you introduce someone to your mother, say your mother's name first. When you introduce a girl to a boy, say the girl's name first. Remember to speak clearly, have a smile on your face, and say something kind about your friend. So, to introduce, let's look down at your study word down there on the bottom of the page. To introduce means to tell who someone is. So we're going to tell who someone is today. And you're thinking about, okay, so let's imagine that I have two people here with me and they don't know each other. So, to get to know other people, one of the first things we do is to tell them their names, right? Or to say our name. And that's one of the first things that we do. Let's say we don't know someone at all, we never met them before. And so one of the first things we do is to say our name. Well, then let's pretend like I have two people here, and so I'm the one that's going to be introducing them to each other so that they get to know each other, right? Well, so today we're going to learn how to do it in a courteous way. Now, courtesy is an act of unselfishness and kindness. Courtesy recognizes the worth of another human and is a form of respect. So we should always respect people and be courteous to each other. And like the Bible verse in Ephesians 4:32, it says to be kind one to another. And so we want to learn how to do that in a kind way today, how to meet people in a kind, courteous way. So let's discuss the different ways. Now let's say let's take the first one there in the box, there in the teaching box. It's when we introduce someone to our grandmother or grandfather or father, we say the older person's name first. So let's say I would be introducing my grandfather to Jadrian. Okay, so I would say my grandfather's name first, right? So I would say, grandfather, this is my second grade student, Jadrian. He works hard at school. Then I'd say, Jadrian, this is my grandfather, John. He is hardworking, kind, and takes time to visit with his grandchildren. And then let's go to the next one. So when we are introducing someone to our mother, we say our mother's name first. So let's say I would be introducing Ariana to my mom. So my mom's name is Ruth Ann. So I would say my mom's name first like this. Well, I would call her Mom, of course, because she's my mom. So I'd say, Mom, this is my second grade student, Ariana. She is thoughtful and sends me encouraging notes at school. Ariana, this is my mom, Ruth Ann. She takes care of me and my brothers and sisters. So then let's think about the next thing in your teaching box. It says when you introduce a girl to a boy, you say the girl's name first. So let's say I would be introducing my brother Eugene. Let's pretend like my brother Eugene and Rachel. Let's pretend like they don't know each other. Now they kind of know each other because they're cousins, but we'll just pretend like they don't. So I would say, Rachel, this is my brother Eugene. I like him for a brother. Eugene, this is my second grade student Rachel. I really enjoy teaching her. So that's a little bit some examples of how you can introduce people to each other. I'll just go over the rules again. So if it's your grandfather or grandmother or mother, you will always say the older person's name first. And then if it would be introducing someone to your mom. Actually, I said that wrong. Let's go back again. So when you introduce someone to your grandmother or grandfather or father, you say the older person's name first, right? And then when you introduce someone to your mother, say your mother's name first. And then when you introduce a girl to a boy, say the girl's name first. And there's also a few other things, a few other introducing. If you introduce two girls or two boys about the same age, it doesn't matter which name you say first. Like if you're introducing, let's say Callie to Aaliyah, let's pretend they don't know each other. So if you'd be introducing Callie to Aaliyah, then you would say either name first, it doesn't matter. Or let's say Wilson to Emerson, and they wouldn't know each other, then either name is fine to say first for that also. So when you introduce a man to a woman or a boy to a girl, say the woman or girl's name first, like Sally, this is my friend Sam. And then you would say, Sam, this is Sally. And you can say something nice about them too. That would be even more a better introduction if you say a little bit something nice about the person. Okay, so let's now go into phonics. Do you still remember That T-A-I-N says the ton sound, as in fountain. And then we have S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N can say the shin sound, as in missionary and station. Okay, let's think about penmanship again today. So you have O and A that you're making in your books. And then you also have the sentence, hundreds of kangaroos live in the outback of Australia. So again, today when you're doing penmanship, remember the good penmanship rules like sitting up straight, using good posture, and holding your pencil correctly. And yeah, all those good penmanship rules that we usually follow, try to remember those. And let's go into spelling now. So they have today about homophones. You can turn to page 34 and we'll read the box there together. It says, homophones are words that sound alike but have different spellings and meanings. And they have some examples there like B-Y and B-U-Y. They both say bye, but they have different meanings. So homophones, they hum alike, but they just mean different. Let's now look here on the board and we're going to review the different ways to, like when to spell E. So we have a little rhyme here. It says, use I before E except after C, or when sounded like A, as in neighbor and way. So we have words here that we need to fill in with EI or IE. And we will try to remember this rule that we use I before E except after C. If it's after C, then you go EI. Or when it sounds like A, as in neighbor and way, then you will put E before I in that case too. Okay, so here we have GH, T, and so we will need to put in EI. Here we have TH and then F, so we will put in IE, a P and then a CE, so it would be IE. And here is W with a GH again, so we will need to use EI. C, so what do we use before C? We will need to use I before E except after C. So now we're going to use EI because it's a C there. Here we have FILV, so you'll put in EI. Here we have an NGH, so you will put in EI. Okay, and you'll be using section 2 words again today in your spelling. You can try to remember to spell your words again today on other paper. Tomorrow you're having your quiz, so yeah, get ready for that. Okay, you have a good day today and be careful with your lesson.